What's up guys, it's Hazman12 and welcome back to another Sunday League episode. Last week there wasn't a game, 2 weeks ago we didn't film it, so the last episode must have been 3 weeks ago. That's too long. So, first things first, team lineup. Joff is in goal, Nathan and Lay centre backs, Ollie and Rory left and right back, Nick and myself as centre midfield. I'm actually replacing Sam this week because he's not playing. And then Josh is in cam, Jacob and Rico are the two wingers, and then Nick is the sole striker today. Let's get into this one. I literally cannot wait. But before we start, obviously got to give the shout out to William. Thank you so much for filming. But unfortunately William was slightly late to the game. Doesn't matter because he did get this tackle. A key tackle in the game. I did actually get a massive scab on my knee. I'm wearing trousers so I can't actually show it. Actually, let me just try. That's what this caused. It didn't actually hurt at the time, but it really stings now. And the phrase, keep you on the edge of the seat, took a whole new meaning here because Jack actually came off his seat. And because Jacob, he scored a goal and he got an assist last game, so I have to put this in. He sort of just gets flattened. We were very much on top of the game from like minute one, and their defence wasn't very solid, and we knew that we were faster than them all the time, so we kept playing the balls in, and this is just the first one. Here I move forward and then Nick peels off. It's something we actually discussed a lot in the game. We actually realised our whole formation was actually very, very solid. Like, even when we did lose it, it was a whole team pressing as opposed to just an individual. It was hard for them to break through, but the small guy there on the ball, his agility, you'll see it later in the video, but he was actually so quick when he moved off. Change of direction, he was pretty good at that. So this clip just proves exactly what I just said. We lose the ball, well, I lose the ball straight away, let's blame it on the sun, and then their attack just doesn't really form. We just win the ball back immediately. So it shows that we're very, very solid. So here Josh, the cam, he does a nice skill to fake going for the ball and then he lets it run across them like the usual skill. Although it does actually go out for throwing, and the manager on the opposition is actually right next to the camera. And he's very happy with himself with his own little joke.
Did he sell himself then, I think?
So Jacob threads a knife through ball, but unfortunately it is offside. I think this is actually one of the only ones in the whole game that was actually offside. You'll see later on, there are too many of these offside calls. Bear in mind, for our offsides, it's them that is calling it, so they have either a manager, a substitute, just someone on their team who is calling the line, so it's always going to be very dodgy. Even the manager knows. Unfortunately, the free kick doesn't come to anything. So this whole move is started by an interception by Lee, and then just an outrageous step over. Like, what more could you ask for from a centre back? And then he passes it to Nathan, he sprays it to Rory, he then gives it to Rico on the right wing, and then Rico, Nick, and then the striker Nick have a nice combination play between them. Nick, striker, it's going to get confusing, knife through ball to Rico, he then plays it back, unfortunately doesn't come to anything in here, but then Nick, the centre mid, he almost scores. Then here is just another chance, Rick and striker Nick, nice combination play again, and again, the goal is coming. So here from a goal kick, I win the initial header. I know that obviously Jacob's faster than the guy, so head it through. Nick flicks it over to Jacob. Unfortunately, he just doesn't get the ball, but then will it come back for Jacob again? No. Will it come back for Nick? No. Surely we're gonna score soon. So here, Rico and I play a nice 1-2. He then gets in behind, he plays it across the goal, the keeper fumbles it. Is it gonna come for Jacob? No. And here's Rico's, I wanna say his highlight in the game.
Release the Kraken!
Get that.
I think we just need a minute to appreciate this touch from Nick.
Skirtle here. Oh yeah!
Anyway, unfortunately he does lose the ball, but we win it back immediately. Rory played it to me. I see that Rico's through, and the rest is just history.
Feeling the noise, this atmosphere.
Joking aside, I am actually very pleased with that little bit of play. It's not even just the ball, it's the little look over the shoulder just before I receive it. I'm just very pleased I did do that because that is something I don't do enough. I just want a little bit of appreciation for the little pop over the shoulder. And the ball, obviously. The ball's okay, I suppose. And they try immediately coming out the blocks from the centre circle, but it just doesn't work. Again, our defensive formation is very solid. So after covering for Ollie at left back, the ball comes to me, I just play it forward. Not really aimed at anyone in particular, just hopeful ball up the pitch. And obviously their defence isn't very comfortable, so anything could really happen. Unfortunately, Jacob is offside, but that defence, it's not looking comfortable. So here the idea was just to control the ball and just lay it off to Jacob for the cross. Unfortunately it didn't work, but yeah, that was pretty bad. I try and feed it through to Jacob. Fortunately the ball isn't great, and it's always annoying because when that ball I play doesn't come off, the manager is always like, don't play the Hollywood pass, but when it comes off and then we score, it's obviously good. So when you play the long ping pass, you got to play it well. That's the problem. Okay, so here I head it, not a good header, but I try and immediately win the ball back, and we sort of win it back, but then Nathan decides to turn into some sort of fish. You can't fault the commitment levels. So here Josh feeds in Rico again, and it's just relentless. Like, Rico is so much faster than their defence. There's another ball across the goal. So from that they get a corner. Unfortunately we don't actually get the head on it. But then I marshal the guy to make sure he doesn't get a breakthrough, because if he gets past me there, they're basically through on goal. So that's the time where you do not dive in. And then this number 4 again, he does me with the body feint. He doesn't get past me, but it's just, he was very agile and just annoying. I mean, he was good, but he just moved direction so quickly. So again here my touch lets me down. It's so irritating. Here Jacob does what Jacob does best, and he nutmegs the fullback and releases Ollie down the line, although you can't really see the nutmeg. I feel like this guy on the sideline is a brother of the guy who got nutmegged, and he saw the cameras like, sorry, I cannot have this being on video. But Lee almost scores the header there, and that's actually something we discussed at half time, because if all of us ran to the near post, we left Lee at the back on his own. It was the last film game where Lee actually did a lethal header, just like that, but actually went in the goal. So that was something that we noted at half time. As much as I appreciate this, Henry,
YouTube, Hazman12, watch it.
it does lead to things like this. And if you are watching, the little kid that just shouted, feel free to subscribe. The red button's down below. So no matter what they did, they literally just couldn't find a way through our team. I'd make sure I chase the ball down, make sure he doesn't get through the defence. And they just have a stray shot, like nothing's coming off for them. And then they play it down the line to the number 4, who I said was quite agile. And he tries to whip across in, but again, just doesn't come to anything. So when someone shouts on the sideline, well in, this is what they're shouting for. So even their number 12 on the opposition is, I have no options. Mate, it's because our formation is just too good. Here Josh gets pretty much put in a headlock, to be honest, which in our team is something we're probably a bit too familiar with, having Sam got sent off for the headlock. Anyway, we win the free kick, and again, that's another questionable offside. So he's taken the free kick now. And obviously it's hard to tell from this angle. Obviously you'll want the angle the linesman has. Still looking at it, it looks like they are level, and we're looking at Nick and then that defender, I'll highlight them. I think that's onside, personally. Anyway, I mean, it didn't come to anything. So here striker Nick nicks the ball, and he gets fouled. And obviously, I mean, the foul doesn't come to anything, but it's just, I wanted to note, the guy who fouled him, later on you'll see that something happens, just angers me a little bit. They whip it in, and initially they get the first header on it, but then we actually go so close to scoring. And so first Josh had to go, and then Rico. What a strike this is. This is weaker foot. And Henry running the line, he doesn't even react. And then they do a goal line clearance. And it's like, how have we scored? And then we get a corner. So the corner gets whipped in, Nick flicks it into the danger zone. And then as you do, Sunday League, it could just ping anywhere. And then Nathan almost scores, he actually hits the post.
Oh my God.
And it's just becoming a bit of a joke really, how we haven't got a second goal. Now here. Okay, so I spoke about diving in before. This, Harry, is something I need to stop. I'm too eager to immediately win the ball back, and he actually plays it through my legs, and it was actually so close to tackling him, but it doesn't matter. I shouldn't dive in there, because it leaves the whole defence exposed. I'm going to try and not do that again. So here I play a lofted through ball to Josh, who gets on the end of it, and then he has Mark, or Rico, in the box with Jacob. He goes for the cross, but the defence actually almost scores an own goal. So Josh plays it out to Ollie, who's strong on the ball, holds off the other guy, and that number 14 actually, he had an impact on the game later on. Doesn't matter. Jacob played that outside of the boot, Jacob. He loves that ball. Josh almost scores. Ollie almost scores. It is becoming ridiculous. Something I want to note here, centre mid Nick gets the ball, and most people would usually get the ball here and play it back to the keeper. But something I actually admire about him is he's always looking to play it forward, and he plays it forward to Rory here, but most people there would play it to the keeper. And here, because I can't see behind me, just play the way you're facing is literally what you grew up to learn to do. So I just played it to Nathan, and he plays it wide, whatever. And the ball gets played through to Josh, and I mean, he could have shot first time, but he didn't. And he lays it off to Jacob, and he tries to bend it round the corner to score a goal, obviously. But I can see what he's doing, because the two defenders are running to the bottom left corner. So if Jacob can get it to the bottom right, the defenders will go, and the ball will go around them. If I pause it here, maybe the best option was to just go to the bottom left corner, but I can see what he's trying to do. So I spoke about Lee's step over before. So I think maybe what's happened is the composure has rubbed off on the entire team. So I'm just going to sit back and let you watch this clip. It's just brilliant. And here again, I didn't actually realise I did this so much. It was another bad touch and then they win a free kick. I didn't actually realise I did this much. I mean, the free kick is an exceptional save from Joff, and then a great header by Nathan to clear it, and then maybe Joff was found in the penalty box. I'm not sure, but that is half time. Right, it's now the second half. I know all the lighting's changed. It's now the evening. I've just recorded the second half later. Just ignore it. I just want to get this video out today. Second half. So Rico whipped out a few skills to get away from the defender. He did well, but in Sunday League, you whip out skills, you get flattened. If we were to compare the opposition from now to the first half, they're completely different teams. They came out of the second half looking much stronger. And we were thinking, all those chances we missed in the first half, are they going to cost us? So they come on the attack, and they went out for throw-in with a nick clearance, and then they win the throw-in, and they flick it on, and they score. And it's just a fantastic feeling when you've bottled so many chances, and now they're somehow back in the game. So Josh does really, really well to win the ball high up in the centre of the midfield. He actually does that more often than you would think. He's actually quite good at that, and he ends up winning a corner. And then we go for the usual tactic of everyone run forward, let Lee head it at the back. Fortunately, it doesn't come this time, but I'm very pleased I managed to get in a challenge this time, because they were away. They're on the counter-attack from the corner, so that time I didn't dive in. So there isn't actually that much footage of me in the second half. Like, I didn't get on the ball that much. And that's not to say I had a bad game, because you could talk about any player who didn't get on the ball but still had a good game. You still have to block the passing lanes and keep running, etc. So that doesn't mean I had a terrible game. I still try my best. I actually got cramp in my hip flexor. But here was the first flattening of Josh's feature on the channel. It just added to the long list. And here now is the second dodgy offside. I'm not convinced that's offside. Now one dodgy offside call to another. And bear in mind, the linesman is their manager. So Rico has played through. Let's take another look. The ball is played there. I don't actually see how that's offside. The camera's actually in perfect line, so now we know that it wasn't offside. There is no way that is offside. It's more evidence that their defence just wasn't comfortable. Keep an eye on the centre back. I talked about how I didn't actually get on the ball much. I think this is actually the first time I did. And immediately, ball through to James, because James is quick. And we immediately, we win a penalty. I would like you guys in the comments to tell me how you think this isn't a red card. Not a red card. How isn't it even a booking? Let me know, because I'm just a bit confused, clearly. So we win the penalty, and James dispatches it very, very nicely. I'll actually replay this now. The keeper, he makes it very easy for James. Not taking anything away from the penalty. You still have to be cool to put it down the middle. But the keeper does dive way before James has kicked it. But it doesn't matter. 2-1 up. Right, okay, so I also want your help with how this is a foul. I'm not actually sure what I did. Any ideas? No? Didn't think so. Rico showing a bit of his pace, getting down the wing, trying to play the ball through to James. But it's just in front of him. I actually did a few interception of the ball, but it's right at the bottom end of the pitch, and I actually do apologise for the position of the sun. Can't really do anything about it. And also, the second half was quite cagey. It was just back and forth, back and forth. There was no real highlights, no real shots on goal. And, well, apart from the actual goal. And then I actually came off, and I'm actually not too surprised, because I wasn't really doing much. There's nothing that I was doing majorly wrong. Maybe I just got a bit tired, obviously with a cramp in my hip, didn't help. And I was still blocking the passing lanes, as I said. We actually have one. I think we have one of these every single game. Any excuse to use the meme, literally any excuse.
Have it.
let's get into that. Also Nick in the centre mid, his strength is actually quite underappreciated. Again, he just shoves someone off the ball like it's just nothing. And then Charlie plays a nice through ball to Rico, definitely not offside this time. Unfortunately his touch lets him down just a bit. He could have been through there. Now, I spoke about Charlie being a great player, and Jacob also. He's not bad. He's not bad. So, corner, comes out, Jacob, he gets the ball, and he actually takes his time. I'm thinking, what are you going to do, Jacob? What are you going to do? He threads literally an eye of the needle pass through the defence, literally cuts them. Charlie plays it across the goal, and it's our third goal. And I think it's fair to say it is deserved, and it sort of knocks the wind out of the opposition. And then I actually made an appearance on the left wing because Jacob got an injury, probably from trying to hack too many people down. I came on the left wing and immediately chasing the ball down, and I don't know why. I actually quite enjoy coming on the wing late on because, actually no, I do know why, because the defence is tired, so you know you can get a good run on them. So here, James, he plays a lofted ball over to me, but apparently I'm offside. No. Let's take a look. So let's pause it as he has played it. Again, the sun doesn't actually help with trying to do this, but I think it's safe to say I'm either in line. Remember, offside it has to be a body part that you can play the ball with, so it can't be my hand. So that one, I think I'm in line. This is actually ridiculous. So then Nick plays a nice ball out to myself, cut inside on the outside of the boot. I then see James away, I play it, and I'm sorry, that's not offside. Not really convinced. Now Charlie plays a nice ball over the top, and now we have Rory up at top, who was playing right back through the game, and he's an aerial threat. So he shoved off the opposition, and Josh so nearly scored that top corner. It's closer than you think, but I was just expecting that to nestle in the top bins. Now here, obviously, we know James is pace threat, so I thread him through with, I'm going to call it the Jacob through ball now. The outside of the boot, round the defender, and he's through, and apparently that's not a red card. That's not even a yellow card, apparently. Again, I literally do not know what this game is anymore. Apparently that's not a booking at all. We got the free kick, but what does that matter? I mean, the free kick went over the bar in the end. It doesn't matter even if the free kick went in. And again, the defenders are literally just pushing the boundary even more. I don't know how that's not a foul. I don't know anymore. And that will wrap up a very eventful game. Tell me what you thought in the comments about all the decisions. I honestly have lost count of all the offsides. Like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you are new. I'll see you later.